Good evening, everyone. How is everybody doing?
Very good.
Good evening, Dr. Du. We're doing good.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're doing great, Doctor. Good evening.
Good evening.
Morning,
Happy
Doc. We're
Friday,
here.
everyone.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Friday is always good.
Good evening,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody. Good evening, Dr. Du.
Good evening. Hopefully, everybody had a great week, even if you didn't.
Yes, we
I
did.
Friday
didn't.
is the weekend, so you should be good, right? At least you were able to go through the week, so
I
you
was
survived.
I was struggling to get this scholarship. Unfortunately, I did not.
Okay. So, and like somebody brought it up, well, if you're asking questions, then those of us who are not really IT savvy, we wouldn't. But we awarded 10 instead of the original eight. And out of the 10, eight was for people who just showed up early.
I tried all
So,
those things. It didn't work for me.
oh, you couldn't show up as
I
early.
did. I mean, I was shocked. The last one, I was shocked somebody showed up like almost an hour before when I was like, oh my goodness.
Installment payments should be allowed.
Well,
Right.
Dr. Emmanuel, I just want to say that my mortgage company got hacked the
Oh,
other day, and no one can pay their mortgages. And if we have to pay late, they will not charge us because it's not our fault. So it's going to be very interesting.
And also, guys, if someone call you guys over the phone, if you don't know the number, please don't pick it up. Also, do never say yes over the phone if you don't know the person. Otherwise, they will record your yes and use it to call the bank to authorize transaction. Just to let everybody know.
Good evening, Dr. Du.
Well, thanks for that insight. Good evening.
Morning, Doc.
Oh, good morning, Jason. It's morning for Jason. All right, so we are going to start here shortly. I appreciate everybody's time, the time and effort, and it's Friday nights, and you chose to be here to share the knowledge and spread the word with Eretmis. So we are starting here shortly. I welcome everybody to Eretmis Cyber Chat, and with our cyber chats, we share cybersecurity knowledge. We are family, and we are here to help and support each other, right? So we are beginning here is 777. So we are about that time. So we begin here time now. All right. So we still have folks coming in. We are going to admit them as they come in. But before we continue, let's make sure we have this in recording. So welcome everyone. I appreciate everybody's time. Like I always say, Friday night, you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here to develop yourself personally and also to learn, share in the family. And we don't take that for granted. So we make sure at least your Friday night is packed and you get some good info that you can put in your toolbox. And that is going to help you to become a better security professional for your company, for yourself, for your family. So tonight we are blessed to have one of our own. And what we've been doing, so Eretmis, our goal, uh, like I always tell everybody, we are building an army of cybersecurity professionals. And how we've built the family and the community up to this point, we have a lot of resources within. Right now, we started from nothing. We have a lot of cybersecurity professionals that we created from scratch, right? And these professionals are well vested in what they do, and we always bring them back as resources. So now, if you talk about any aspect of cybersecurity, identity and access management, third-party risk management, we have somebody in any of those areas, and we just don't have them, but they are doing exceptionally well in those areas, right? And we are planning on in-person conference where we are going to have all these in-house resources, and then maybe probably some from outside come talk to us, and for all of us to share the knowledge. I think that would be pretty cool, seeing everybody in person for maybe a day or two, right? So that is still in the pipeline, but I always take pride in what we are making of ourselves. We are building a community. We are building an army of cybersecurity professionals. So I encourage everybody to immerse yourself into this. And then also for resources that we bring in here, they are all open. You can link up with them, you ask questions, they will help you out, whether you are a student of Eretmis or not. You are part of the family, the bigger Eretmis family. So, and everybody on here is willing to help. And maybe from folks who've reached out to some of these resources that we've been bringing around, they are very helpful. They all have embodied the spirit of Eretmis, that is to help everybody to really climb up and get to that level in security. So whether you are in security already, you are starting from scratch, we are here to help to push you forward to get to that point. That is the idea behind what we do for Cyber Chats, right? So for folks, if you don't necessarily have the funds to join any of our paid programs, this is also an opportunity for you to learn, right? There have been a couple of instances where we have like I think almost like 4 or 5 people who have gotten jobs through Cyber Chats. They didn't take any of our paid courses. They just listened to Cyber Chats a couple of times, over and over, different subjects, like different topics. And then during their interviews, that is what they used, and they got the jobs, right? Like they got different cybersecurity jobs. So we pride ourselves in giving really good value information, not just, surface and just kind of, forcing you or diverting everybody into the paid courses. We do this out of genuine heart and, like genuine willingness to help, not, covered in anything. So today we are blessed to have one of our own, Lumen. Lumen has been very active in the community. And I remember when Lumen, would sit in Cyber Chats and people will share their story like this. And Lumen will say, one day it's going to be me, right? It's going to be him sharing his story also to inspire and encourage people. And today, Lumen has been working for a while, but we decided to bring him on today for him to share his journey, to share his story, and for it to inspire everybody. And then also, Lumen is a very good resource. You can reach out to him any time of the day, and he's willing and ready to help. Right? So Lumen, an electrical engineer who has switched to become a cybersecurity professional and working in the PCI space also as well. So Lumen is a really good resource. And Sheila is going to be my co-pilot, helping me to go through this and ask Lumen a couple of questions, and then we'll open the floor for everybody else to also ask their questions and pick Lumen's brain on any subject matter expert within the space of what he's doing. So, but we are going to move forward into the little cybersecurity news and the rest that we have, and then we jump into picking Lumen's brain on the transition, how it happened, and how he was able to go through. It's not easy, but like I always say, it's not easy, but it's doable. If it was easy, everybody would have been a cybersecurity professional getting paid 200K and up, right? It's not easy. That is why it's not everybody who is doing it. So if you want to get into this, take that out of your mind. Some people ask, so which area is the easiest route in? There is no easy route in. You have to be ready to really put in the work and the effort, and it's going to pay off, right? And then when you actually take the time to build a strong foundation, now building the actual structure on your foundation becomes a bit easier, right? So a little intro about myself for those who are new to the family. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy and the CEO of Eretmis Inc. Eretmis Inc. is a QSA company based out of New York. We are a cybersecurity company also as well. And for Eretmis Academy, we are a premier cybersecurity training institute based out of New York as well. I'm a former United States Army captain, and I used to teach at University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC. I love to teach cybersecurity, leadership and management, soft skills, name it. But security is a really good passion of mine. And I've been in the IT space almost 22 years now. So enough about myself. For tonight, we are going to be looking at some cyber news for the week. And then we will have Lumen walk us through his journey from switching from the engineering field into the cybersecurity field, right? So we will jump into some of housekeeping stuff that we have, and then we will look at the cyber news. So for everybody on here, Eretmis Academy is a CompTIA authorized partner. So what that means is that for everybody within the family, if you want to write any security security certification from CompTIA, you get a 20% discount from us. So we have a 20% discount because we are authorized partners. And that 20% discount that has been afforded to us, we push it down to the family. You don't necessarily have to even be a student. If you're part of the family and you want to sit for any of these exams, you let us know. You pay your certification fees through us, and then you get your 20%. Now, for us, we don't have anything on the back end. There is no commission, zero, nothing, right? The like commission we have is the 20%, and we are giving that to you, right? So we don't really get anything out of this. So we are doing this just out of our sheer willingness to help and to help you also save a little bit on the certification exam cost. That can be a bit on the high side sometimes, right? So and also, so that is the 20% discount for all exams vouchers. So spread the word. If you have any, friends, family, and they want to sit for any of the CompTIA security exams, they can contact us, and then we'll purchase the voucher on their behalf, and then they will get a 20% discount, right? And then also for continuous education, for those who already have Security Plus and other certifications, if you want to renew, you don't necessarily have to sit for the exam. You can use continuous education points. Example of which is what we are doing for live webinars like this that you attend. You can use that towards your credits, your continuous education credits, and you can use that to get recertified without actually having to take the exam again, right? So how you do it, I think Michael went over this extensively last week. But this is just, if you go to CompTIA's website, this is specifically for CompTIA. For other certifications, there are ways of going about it. But overall, the idea and the goal behind it is the same. So if you can follow this, you can easily also do it for other certifications, for other companies that are doing the certifications like ISACA and ISC Squared, right? So this is just walking you through, but I think we extensively went over this. So we are going to skip some of these and then jump into. So next is our WhatsApp group. We have an Eretmis Cybersecurity group. We are almost 850 now. So you can join the group. It's a place for us to share knowledge within cybersecurity, give some insights, security reports that are coming out. I think 2 days ago, we posted the cybersecurity workforce report, right? That gives you a good insight into the demand for security professionals, which areas of cybersecurity is more demanded, and which areas have more people, which areas have less, and the rest, right? So that gives you some good insights into the industry and the workforce as well. So we share really good info on there. And also for Cyber Chats, the links and everything are always posted in the WhatsApp group also as well. So if you want to be part of this group, we will post the link. You can use this group. You can use this link to join our cybersecurity group. And then also we have Eretmis YouTube channel, where recording of this Cyber Chats tonight is going to be posted on there once it's done. We also stream live on YouTube, so the live stream is also going to be on there as well. So kindly go ahead, share our YouTube channel, subscribe to it, help the channel grow. That way other people are also going to get to know the good stuff that we put on there as well. So with that, we are going to move into our cyber news for the week. So Elon Musk is coming up with something new. And what is that? So he's coming up with his own AI, similar AI tool, similar to what we have for Chat GPT. And he's one of the co-founders for OpenAI, the company that came up with Chat GPT, right? I think in 2018 he got off the board, but he's still one of the co-founders. And now he's coming up with his own AI tool, that is XAI. It is supposed to be released today, right? So you can research online and look out for the app. And probably I don't really know exactly how his is going to come out like, but it's going to work kind of similar to what Chat GPT is doing, right? So that is one of the cyber news out there this week. And then we have this guy. Anybody who knows who this guy is? For folks who were big in the crypto when crypto just became a big, just like blew up in I think a year or two ago. This guy was not so he was he's Sam. I think we missed that and put this on there as well. So he's Sam Bankman. Bankman. What he did was he's the CEO. He was the CEO of FTX. If anybody within the crypto space, FTS became kind of it when it comes to crypto. And long story short, he kind of took some money from his crypto folks, and to the tunes of 8 billion. So his whole entire crypto empire collapsed, and he's in court. He just got convicted on Thursday. So he's facing some serious problems and issues. You can dig more into this story also as well. For folks who are still keen in crypto space, I think you probably know this already. And with that, we are going to move on into Okta. So Okta, anybody familiar with Okta? I'm pretty sure a couple of folks on here are using it at work.
Yes.
Yeah, what is Okta used for?
Multi-factor authentication
Okay,
and single sign-on.
yes. So Okta is supposed to be one of the biggest identity and access management solutions that, like that is out there, right? Most companies use Okta as a one-stop shop for all identity and access management issues and problems and solutions that they might want to put in place. Now, the problem is that Okta just the irony of the whole thing is Okta is supposed to be your strongest identity and access management solution, right? So they should be really on top of their security game. But guess what? Okta got breached. Just this year, Okta has been breached 4 times. And the latest one was through one of their third-party vendors. So remember, we talked about third-party risk management, I think a couple of weeks ago. And we looked at some of the different case studies, right? Now probably Okta is going to be one of our case studies when we revisit third-party risk management. And this goes to show you the importance of third-party risk management, because they've had their own problems and issues throughout, this year. But this last breach that made it the 4th breach was through another company, not them. And this company is Rightway. Rightway is a healthcare company that provides healthcare insurance to Okta employees, right? So they have access to Okta's employee data. And in so doing, they have access to Okta's network and resources, some part of their network and resources. So this company got breached, and the attackers used that to also compromise data from Okta, right? So if this company was taking, I don't really know what went on in terms of how they are keeping up with their security, but Okta has the responsibility of making sure anybody that they are working with is, at a very higher level of security in terms of security maturity than them. So if I'm a service provider providing identity and access management solution to companies, anybody who wants to work with me has to be well matured in terms of security than me, right? That way I can rest assured and go to bed at night knowing very well that whoever I'm working with is taking security seriously. If not, then you run into issues like this, right? So it's like the police department getting robbed by armed robbers. It's kind of funny, right? They are supposed to be the ones protecting you. Now they are getting robbed instead. So, like, where are we getting to, right? So, this is bad on Okta, by all accounts, but they still had to go ahead and do the right thing. They had to report these incidents to their office, like their area of operation. That is, I think, Maine is where they are located. So they had to report this breach. And they don't have the luxury of not reporting. If they don't report, they can get in trouble for that. So this also moves into incident response, which we talked about also a couple of weeks ago, right? So you can find all those videos on YouTube. So incident response, when you do encounter a breach or an incident, you don't have to sit on it as a company. You remember when we were looking at incident response, we looked at a case study of the chief security officer for Uber, who got convicted because he tried to cover up for an incident that happened at Uber. Right? You can literally go to jail or get convicted and become a felon for trying to cover up an incident. So Okta, they did the right thing. They reported the breach to the office of the Maine Attorney General on Thursday, right? But this breach, I think, happened on the 28th of September. And they got notice of it, I think, this weekend. They reported accordingly. But this is their fourth breach. And for an identity and access management solution, I'll think twice if I have to use Okta. Right? As a company, Eretmis, we don't use Okta. So, I mean, it's bad, but it's not bad for us. For companies who are using Okta, then it means you have to revisit your choice for Okta. Go ahead, Jason.
All right, Doc, you're just saying that, but with Okta's popularity and with its widespread usage, what other options are there? And in terms of this attack, does his reputation go completely to zero based on this action, this breach?
Yeah, so that is why for security folks within companies, you have to be keeping yourself up to date on security news, because if not, you're not even going to know about this. There are a lot of incidents that are happening every single day within different companies, and they go very quiet and silent, right? But if you are in the security space working in your company, like Lumen is, if you get to know these, then for your third-party risk management, you have to really look at Okta well. Maybe give them some extra, hurdles for them to go through to prove themselves. Now, if you just rely on popularity, then you are going to be so wrong. Security is not based on which tool is popular, but that is why we do third-party risk management. Now, like when it comes to the popularity, like I'm saying, if folks within the company, security folks who are choosing, or even the C-suite who are signing off on the contract with Okta and the rest other solutions, they have to be keeping up. So if you are a security person in there and your boss is not aware of this, let them know, hey, this is what happened. Now, Okta will have to come back and brief or have a statement talking about how it happened, what they are doing about it, and what happened and all that, right? So if your company thinks it's okay, you can still work with them, then that's fine. But you have to do your due diligence and take due care, right? Either than that, and there are other solutions. I think there is another popular one that doesn't come off head easily, but there are different new solutions out there. But Okta has just gradually became one of the biggest names. They started small, so the other ones who are not that small, they are kind of going side by side with Okta. Anybody knows any similar one that they know at work? I can't remember. There is one that I can't just remember offhand, but there are different competitors out there, right? So, but for Okta, I mean, if this continues for in a year, I mean, it's not good to get breached 4 times in a year. Like, what did you do when you got breached the first time? Second time, what measures are you putting in place? Right? You might think for an identity and access management solution, they are, they are very matured in terms of security. For a bigger company like that, maybe when they started, but as the company is getting bigger and bigger, complacency will set in. People wouldn't be doing what they're supposed to be doing, right, and all that. So hopefully that answers your question, Jason. CyberArk, yes, thank you. Adam, CyberArk is one of the yes, Baron. Well, Kwame, yes, okay. I was going to say Kwame is supposed to be the one saying this. Yes, Kwame. I expected this from Kwame. Baronis is also, yes, RFA. Yes, RSA is also one. There's like a couple of them who are also pretty decent out there, right? Thanks for that input. So with that, we are going to turn it over to Sheila, and Sheila is going to start going through the questions with Lumen, and everybody else can hold their questions. Once we are at a good stopping point, we will go through some of the questions, and then also for the session that Michael brought up, at a point, we will have a quick 5 minutes break, and everybody's going to let us know where they are joining us from, and then we'll continue from there. So Sheila, you can go ahead and take over.
Thank you. Thank you, boss. Hello, Lumen.
Hello, Sheila. How you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. And hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today, wherever you're coming from. Like Dr. Edu said, we are doing this to get more insight into how Lumen transitioned from where he was electrics engineer to cybersecurity professional and a PCI consultant. That's amazing. So not wasting too much time, I will go through the questions. First of all, Lumen, if you can please just give us a little bit insight into your background before diving into the cybersecurity world.
Okay.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. Again, my name is Lumen Adetu. So originally from Africa, my background is in mechanical engineering before I came to the United States. Around 2008, then because of language barrier, and French was my first language, then I decided to join the U.S. Navy. So I was in the U.S. Navy for 4 years as a logistic manager. Got out around 2012. And then I decided to become, to study electrical engineering. That's what I did. And I got my bachelor in electrical engineering. But then the market is very, 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 very difficult. You have to have connections. You have to know people to land the, good paying jobs, as an electrical engineer. And also there is different, options that one can take, depending what you want to do, So that is where everything has been a challenge for me. I've been in the field, but the salary was not quite good, but the workload is too much. That was one of the things. Until 2020, I was working with Boeing as a system engineer, and we got laid off. Then since that time, it's been very difficult to land a job. So I was talking to a friend that we were in a master program. You from Ghana as well, but he's in IT, he's in cybersecurity. And he was telling me, Lumen, I know you love IT, you kind do some, hobbies, you do your own, computer things. Why don't you transit to IT? And I was like, no, I don't want to start everything all over again. Have good background in project management, logistics, things like that. And he's like, no, Lumen, I think it's time for you to switch over. And I'm like, okay. Then I was doing my research online and I saw Dr. Edu course, but I was a little skeptical, but I did a lot of research. And then I called him. I remember, I don't know if you can remember, but I called him the first time, asked him a lot of questions. And I was like, okay, let me get into the program. And I got into the program and here I am talking to you guys.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. Good, good. We're very proud of you. You've made us proud.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, welcome. So just a little bit more into your background.
Okay.
What exactly, aside from low income, you got laid off, and all that you did before now, what exactly inspired you? You weren't sure even when your friend mentioned it to you, and then you finally just decided to get into it. What exactly inspired you to finally make the transition?
First of all, I used to hear cybersecurity, but anytime when I hear it, I get scared. I was like, this is for smart people, man. I'm not that smart. But I never actually take that little step to dig into it or research it. Every time I keep seeing that on the media, so everywhere, but I'm always scared. I'm like, that might be too smart. So it's my friend that actually pushed me. Like William was like, hey, Lumen, check, man, you can make this, man. Look, he showed me some stuff, small. I'm like, oh, this is easy, man. I've done all of that already in my electrical engineering. He said, yes, Lumen, that's it. If you can do all of this, that's it. You can be a cybersecurity professional. I'm like, what are you talking about? So that's how, I was like, okay. So I started doing my own research. And also, I went to an interview at the NSA where I met a girl talking about cybersecurity. Like this girl, I look at her, I was like, wow. And I'm like, something I need to dig into. I was like, you know what? Let me get into it full time. So I was like, yeah. So when I saw the course, I prepared myself and then, I got into it. That's how, I got into the program.
You're so funny. You're so funny when you said when you heard it, you thought cybersecurity is for smart people.
Yeah.
I always thought like that too sometimes. I always say if anybody told me that I would ever be doing anything with IT, I would never have believed it. So I understand you when you said that. All right.
Also, when I was doing the program, I was not patient because I wanted to make that cash fast, right? And I come to the point where things were really hard for me, to the point I wanted to go back to the and I think Dr. You know about that too. I wanted to go back to the the Navy or the Army, whether it is an officer or maybe enlisted. Guess what? I went to MEPS. They asked me, "What are you doing?" I say, I'm going to school. I'm doing cybersecurity. Everybody start looking at me. Man, you are too smart. That's when I realized I'm making a big mistake. I'm making a big mistake. So when I get back home, I'm like, no, I gotta get back to my study.
Yeah,
I gotta focus on this. And I focus well. Here I am.
Amazing. You realized that you were also smart.
Yeah, I was like, damn it, I can do this, man. So when I took Dr. Edu course, I love the course because the way the course is structured for a child can understand it. Like anybody who that is not smart can understand those courses. Very basic understanding. That helped me. The course helped me. Even right now, I'm doing my doctoral program in cybersecurity. To be honest, I don't read any book because everything I know it already. That's what I use to do my discussion, my paperwork. That's what I've been using. Because pretty much Dr. Ju training prepare me for those. So it was. It's easy for me. It's easy for me.
Good. Good. You have touched a little bit on my next question, but I will still ask. So, your friend introduced you to Eretmis, but did you know anything about any other program in terms of cybersecurity? Did you just take your friend's word for it and went straight into Eretmis, or you did compare Eretmis to other programs before you finally decided to enroll with the program?
Good question. In fact, I actually started doing research with Embry-Riddle University in Florida. Yes, to do my, to get into the cybersecurity program. But it's too long. I was like, no, I cannot do that. I actually contacted Atlanta, technical university, something like that. I spoke to the advisor, everything. The program is like 9,000 for 9 months. Like, nah, I look at the curriculum, what they're gonna do. I'm like, it's gonna be another education program where you are stuck in learning too much. I'm like, nah. And I took another training, which is like SAP security. I did that one. That's when I start comparing, the program. I'm like, I think Dr. Edu program might be better because the SAP is focused on one area, but Dr. Edu one is more opportunity to become either architect, consultant, a analyst, a third party, assessor, or like compliance or GRC. There's plenty of opportunity out there. That is how I was like, no, you know what? I think this is the best option for me, best program. And also I can build a community because I need a more friend, I need to do connection, so that people can teach me, I can learn from them and, and network, so basically that's how it went.
Good. Thank you. So, with what you learned from Eretmis, can you share with us some key lessons or courses from Eretmis that were pivotal in shaping your cybersecurity knowledge?
That's a lot. That question got a lot of answers. Wow. Well, the course alone is great.
Okay.
I remember when I used to do when I was doing my master in information, technology management. They always talk about CIA. I'm like, what the hell is that? And anytime when I look at it, so cybersecurity again, man. But then when I took Dr. Edu course, that's when I'm like, wow, I would have done this course a long time ago, man. That would have made my master even easier. So that's one. Number two, working in the PCI, everything that I'm doing, to be honest, is from those courses. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know what is an encryption. Like, I know. So when they are talking about it, I'm not worried. I'm not scared. Like, I'm not scared. Whatever they are saying, I know it. Vulnerability management, I know it. When they're talking about like Qualys, I know it because I download it, I use it. And even like sometimes I'm proposing them other tools, like name it, networking, like name it, every training that we have done over there, like during this assessment that we just did my first audit, I applied pretty much everything that I've learned on that cybersecurity course, like no joke. And then again, I have not done a 100% PCI training with Dr. Ju yet, which I'm going to start next year. But I'm a partner with Dr. Ju, so I took the business part of PCI for them. That is why, that also helped me to understand the business aspect of PCI. But then everything else boiled down to the basic cybersecurity, understanding the frameworks, the controls, and the internship is really good as well. The internship opened you the door. And when I was there, I remember when I finished the course, I was asking some questions to Dr. Ju, and then he's like, hey, Lumen, wait, when you get your internship, you will understand. So when I went, I was like, wow, now this opened my mind. So that's how I was like, okay. So I don't look at myself like a student. I look at myself as a consultant. Because in that training, I actually assess a company, right? Using those niche frameworks. So I can do the same thing to any company, which you can even make maybe 30,000 by doing that. Talking about incident response, my company doesn't have it. Sometimes I ask those questions. They're like, we don't have that on here. I'm like, what the hell? Business continuity plan, they don't have it. Sometimes I ask myself, am I the dumbest or am I the smartest? You see? So there is plenty. Sometimes I ask, who's in charge of the third-party vendor management? They say, maybe you don't have that. Everybody just onboard staff. I'm like, what? You see? I'm like, okay, I think we need to do some work, So basically, everything that I've learned from the course and then the internship actually helped me, and I apply, and I'm doing it, So I don't want to go too much,
You've You've said a lot. You've answered the
it's sweet.
question really, really well. Yes, yes. You did a very good job. Thank you. And yes, you are very smart. So I will ask you one more question and then we'll take a break and check in with where everybody is getting in from. Okay. So when you when Eretmis Academy came to stay or is established, now Dr. Du has established a lot of networks, connections. It's a resource. There's a whole package now. We are all a family here. So with you joining Eretmis Academy, will you say, or can you tell us if the Academy's network, the industry connections helped you in any way during your job search?
In fact, yes. Yes, because this opportunity that I am in now, my friend that told me to get into cybersecurity is the one that called me for opportunity, right? When he called me, immediately, I called my network, people that is in here, right? I called Michael, I called George, I called Mavis. Okay, I'm going to go to this interview. So I'm going to need you guys to prep me with questions. And it was not a joke. We got like Dr. Ju offer, I think those course, the entry-level course, they have I think 200 questionnaire. There is no way if you prepare yourself for those 200 questionnaire, you're going to miss it. Unless, something happened, you forgot, you get it. But at night, me and George, every night during that interview, before that interview, we were not joking. We went through all those questions and I wrote it down. I memorized some, like no joke. So George helped me, Michael helped me, Mavis helped me, So if I was not part of the family, and I did not network with them. Also, especially the internship, I did not, network with the internship people. I will not be here today, to be honest.
That's very good to hear. That's very good to hear because I've always see it as the family. It's amazing what is being built here. So I'm glad that you have found it very useful. So we will take a few minutes as we tried before last week, just to acknowledge where everybody's logging in from. We're realizing that family members are joining from all over the world. So we would like to acknowledge. So if you can let us know where you're joining us from, that would be amazing. Okay. So,
yeah, sure. So everybody can put it in the chat.
Yes.
Where you are joining us from, just to acknowledge. And then also what we are doing with this is for our in-person conference that we are going to hold, next year, depending on the statistics on how many are joining from where, that is going to influence the location that we are going to choose. So please go ahead and put your location in there. That way, we might probably bring it to your city, to your state, when we do the in-person meeting, right? So we have, if Sheila is going to go through, or I'll take this one. So Adam from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Yeah, okay. So Lawrenceville, I've been in Lawrenceville for a couple of times. Jason from Japan. Yeah, yes. Canada. Chucks. Awani from Newark, Maryland. Yeah, Allen, Maryland. Kwame from Udro Apel from Connecticut. Prince, Chicago. Sandra, Maryland. Alaska. Georgia. Carlos. Dion from Missouri. Canada, Julius. Finland. Yao. We have Maryland, another Maryland. Marlin, Alfred, Virginia. Ifema from New Jersey, very close to me. Chicago, Jamal. Charlotte, North Carolina. Joel. Cam Humphreys, yes, Cam Humphreys, that is where he's at. Cornelius. We have Emmanuel from New Jersey. Illinois. Aisha. And Mike joining from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you. Frederickson, Maryland. Divine from Boston. Divine always says, when he introduced himself, he adds that to it. So Divine, I knew where Divine was before he put it in here. New Jersey, we have Tunde, Felix, Columbus, Jason put that in there already. And then we have Maryland, Alhaji, Rainey from Leesburg, Virginia. I have family in Leesburg. Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Maryland. Okay, a lot of Maryland. There was a lot of Texas last week, but okay, since Cincinnati, Samuel, Canada, Edmonton. There's Edmonton also in London. There is a city in Edmonton. I used to live in Edmonton for a little bit. Edmonton, okay, great. Dallas, Texas, Willie, and we have Kobe, New Jersey, Rachel from Indiana, RA from Atlanta, and we have Germany, Carl from Germany. Which part of Germany, Carl? Kwame from France, Maryland, Massachusetts, baby, and we have okay. So Texas, I'm starting to see Texas, Connecticut, Frank, Anthony, Bronze, Eric Barr from Bronze, LM Maryland, New York. Okay, we have New York. Okay, thank you, everybody. So you can still keep putting that in there. I'm going to hand it back over to Sheila. Appreciate everybody's input. And this is really going to help us to decide where to, have our first meeting, in our first in-person meeting, right? So thank you very much, Sheila. I'm going to hand it back over to you. You can go ahead with your questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, Lumen, we can continue now.
Sure.
So thank you. So people always hear about cybersecurity and the earning potential in cybersecurity, how much people can make. And so the question is, how did Eretmis equip you with the skills to be able to get the 6 figures salary?
Well, let me just say, I don't know how to answer that question technically, but I was talking to one of my manager that we used to work together as he was my manager, I think back in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And we were working on a project for a Sony, but it was like for NASA project, it was top secret project for space. So we were testing like layers, like something for human tissue, how human like skin will react in space. That's what we were working on back then. So last time I called him, we were talking. Me and him still have contact. We have been talking, and he said, "Lumen, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I transit from electrical engineering to get into cybersecurity." He's like, "Lumen, I've been seeing that, man. A lot of people," and he was complaining. He said, "Lumen, I've been in the field for now, but it's very hard to make money, man." And he's a manager, just like a senior engineer, but that guy can design. Like this guy can do so much. And I told him approximately like how much I'm making. He's like, "That's bullshit." Lumen, I'm like, "It's like really?" I'm like, "Yes." So I would say the training, has helped me a lot. The internship also helped me a lot. And also myself, I did a lot of work. I did not just sit down. It was not easy, to be honest with you. Like, the application part was the hardest part. Without no dedication or, I remember sometimes Michael be like, "Hey, Lumen, it's gonna get better, man. Keep applying, and that's the hard part. That's our job that we have to do. I remember Dr. Joe always say, make sure you do you make your application as a full-time job. That's the only way you can make it. But if you are planning for 1, 2, 3, and then you relax, you are waiting for someone to reach out to you, no one. And then salary negotiation. I think in the training too, Dr. Do post how to negotiate salary, and I follow that as well. So, I would say all of that combined helped me, to secure a 6-figure, salary as well.
You said you didn't understand the question, but you answered it perfectly. Yes.
Sometimes you don't know.
Yes, you touched every part of it. You touched the
Okay.
fact that you worked very hard. The academy helped you, and you also put in the work. That's the part that I like to stress on, that you did put in the work. It's not just relaxing. We talk about it. Everybody knows that, yes, cybersecurity is good. People hear it and you talk to them about it. They're interested in it. But if you don't put in the work, it's not that it's not true what you were told, but you need to put in the work. And
That's
then,
correct.
yes, and then you also touched on the fact that the job preparation to help you actually apply, it did help you to command that figure that you want. And so the program itself is set up in such a way that it touches every aspect for you to actually get to where you want to be, and you actually touched all that. So thank you. All right. So my next question is, what role did the mentors or the instructors at Eretmis play in your transition and in preparing you for interviews, role-specific challenges? I know you touched a little bit, but if you can dive a little bit more into it, that would be great.
Well, I would say I think the networking, network with people, especially from the internship has helped me a lot. And I'll say, for example, George, especially when I had a PCI interview, 2 days training was like 6 months training. It was no joke. Like me and he were going to a lot of questions, answers, scenario. We were playing scenario at night, and I wasn't sleeping for like those 2 days, like especially Saturday, Sunday, and interview was on Monday. And I called Michael even that Monday morning. I called Michael, and me and Michael went over everything about PCI that he can think of, and I had to memorize it. And I'll say networking is the key. Networking and talking to your friends. Ask them questions that you can ask, because I remember Dr. Joe always say something. The worst mistake that you can make is to make it now in front of your friend than doing it at the interview. I don't know if that's the correct one. So it's better to make a mistake now in front of your friend so that we can correct you than doing it at the interview and then coming back and be like, oh, if I knew I would have done this. No. Let's make that mistake now. Let's correct it together. Let's feel that shame together, and let's work on it. Let's build that strong, that comfort zone that you are. Let's step out of it. Go to the other one that you don't like. Let's work on that, and then let's make it better. I think having them talking to me, giving me that support also helps. I would say that.
Good. Good. That's amazing. It's always a good thing to have people to talk to and be able to help you through it. Peer to be a peer always help. So right now, with money is tight. So when everybody hears cybersecurity or hears a program like this and they finally get into the idea of wanting to do it, and then they find out this is how much you have to invest, people start to step back a little bit like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. How do I come up with that? It's just too much. So with you at this point, with where you were and where you are now, how would you compare the returns on investment from your time and resource at Eretmis Academy with the outcome you have achieved in your career so far?
Number one, I don't regret any, because I remember the first Cyber Chat that I went was the one, I forgot the website, but it was the website where we have over 600,000 jobs. And then Dr. G were going through all the possible opportunity that you can do. And then there is another one that showed the job in cybersecurity and then all of that. And I was like, back then, it was tight. It was pretty tight. The job market, especially after the pandemic, no one was hiring. It was really tough, especially in my electrical engineering field, project management, no job, nothing. I was like literally driving how's that called? Amazon Flex, where you pick up a block, and then but guess what? We don't make any money. I was making a 5-hour blocks, you make like $150. But then I was doing that to pay this course. I was paying my rent, feeding my family. It's not easy. I wake up like 2 a.m. in the morning. I drive 1 hour to go pick packages, which I never done in my life, and I'm doing that in America. Wake up 2 in the morning, drive 1 hour to go pick up packages, to drive for 1 hour, like 5 hours, just make sometimes 150 or 180. That's what, you eat in it, you get gas, you do all of that, you save money to pay your rent, and then you pay for this course. And luckily, the course is split into monthly payments, and I was doing it, paying little by little. Sometimes I was not able to pay, and then the course will close, and I get it. When I pay, it's open, then, I did it. I joined the Dr. Ju, what's that program called again? Coaching program. I've learned a lot over there as well. Partnership, I've learned a lot as well. And I think all of that prepared me really good. It's an investment. It was hard. It was not easy. To be honest, it was not easy, man. It was not easy at all. Sometimes there is one thing that I never shared, Daddy. It's one day I wake up in the morning. I had like how much? I think I drove for the whole entire week, and I have like $600 or $700 in my account. And then that day, the school take £600 out of my account. And in that money, I was like, how am I gonna go drive and make money? And it's the end of the month. And I called Dr. Joe, and I explained him my situation. He's like, oh, man, relax, man. I got your back. And yes, and he helped me. And then I was able to do my driving while I'm still doing my training. It's something that I can never forget in my life, until I die on this earth. So the program helped me. Yeah. So today, I'm not gonna I'm not regretting anything. Today, now I can sleep at least without not thinking I have to pay rent the end of the month. I have to pay this bill, and you are stressed out. You are very stressed out, and you and your wife will be fighting and all of that. Your kids, everybody, none of that is happening. So that's what I want to share. It's touching, but it's okay.
Yes, I must tell you that your story is very emotional sometimes. I've talked to several people, but this that you have shared, it touched some
I never want to say, but I think people need to hear it.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Life is not easy here. We go through the things that people have to go through. It's interesting, and so I agree. And again, I am very proud that through all that you stood strong and you have been able to be successful, and you're sharing your story to encourage somebody that it is possible. No matter how tough, no matter how tough it seems, it is possible. So that's good. Yeah. Okay. So your intention was to get into cybersecurity. I wasn't sure how you did step into PCI. I know you said how you intertwine or got yourself into PCI. If you can walk us through a little bit how you joined with the intention of cybersecurity, and then in there actually be able to pick
PCI.
A specialty also in that same process. It's amazing.
Well, I know Dr. Joel will talk about PCI, which has interested me, but I never thought about getting into it. I never planned of applying for it. But then when my friend told me about the position that they're looking for someone in PCI, but then my friend said, look at the job description. You can do all of that because I hear you talk about it all the time when you are talking to me. But then my friend that introduced me to cybersecurity, sometimes he will be calling me, asking me questions to help him at work. You see the problem? So when he saw the job description, he said, no, Lumen, I think you can do this job. So when I look at the job, I've done all of this with Dr. Ju, so I'm good. So that's how I spoke to Michael, because I know Michael have done PCI, George have done PCI, so I spoke to them. show them, and then they're like, oh, okay, we can prepare you for interview. So that's how, but it's not easy because you have to learn, you have to understand PCI. And also, luckily, I've done the PCI partnership with Dr. Edu, which, is a business aspect. So I understand a little bit about PCI, which helped me as well. So I would say that's how I was like, okay, you know what? I think I can do this. Let me boost my level of confidence with a little more training, and that's it.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing because the PCI course itself it's not
Intense.
easy. So
It's
yes,
intense.
I,
Yep.
I took it, and I can tell you that, like, yeah, I'm still licking my wounds from it. So yeah, so for you to just on the side be able to pick a piece of it and run with it like that is amazing. I'm very proud of you.
And also, I remember during certain cyber chat, Dr. You were saying here, you have to have a good background about cybersecurity to be able to understand PCI.
Right.
So if you are here, you want to do PCI, I just recommend you to be patient, do the cybersecurity course before you get into PCI. To be honest, that will make your life easier. Everything will just be like water for you, just like that. Bam, bam, bam.
Good.
So I just want to let you guys know.
Good. That's amazing. So if you look at the number of people on here, today's Friday, people could be anywhere else, but they chose to be here. Excuse me. Yes, they chose to be here to listen to what you have to say. I need you to take your time. I know you've said a lot and your story is very touching, but I still want you to be able to encourage people here, be able to say something to people that are aspiring or that are interested in pursuing cybersecurity. Some of us on the line may be in it already. Some are in the process of taking the class. Some are still on the fence. We have a little bit of all that here. This is a family with different backgrounds. So if you can touch every little part of it for us so that everybody can get something home, that
Okay.
would, yes.
Me, what I can say is number one is you don't join the program if you are not ready. Don't join the program if you are not ready. You don't join the program because everybody's doing it. So me too, I want to do it. It's something that you must want. You must be willing to do, because everything can be given to you. But if you are not putting any effort, Dr. You said that, I think on the last chat we said that again. If you are not putting any effort, we are not here to babysit anybody. If you are not putting any effort, you are not here putting any effort, you are not doing the necessary work, I don't think you will be, you will make it. It's something you want to do. Me, I told myself, I'm gonna be the best and the best, and I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna take it like a little baby that is born, and I accept it. Like my mind right now is like for a little baby. I'm growing up, right now I look at myself like, I'm still walking with my hand and my legs like my son, something like that. I'm still looking at it that way. And I'll be little by little, I'll grow up and I'll be like Dr. Ju as well. So I'm not rushing. So please, it's a transition. You are getting into a new industry. Patience should be your key. You should hold. You should have with your hand. And also, keep learning, man. Like our network, me, George and Michael, anytime when we meet and Mavis, we don't talk about anything else apart from sharing what we are doing at work. Oh, guys, do you know how to do this? Do you know AWS accounts? Do you know that? Do you know Okta? Do you know how to set it up? Those are the things we talk about. We don't talk about anybody business. We just share experience. We share knowledge, and we love it. We will spend like 1 hour, 2 hours just talking about work. Sometimes we forget that we were on the phone. So please, I think being patient and putting the work, especially applying for a job, it's not gonna be easy. I'm not, just be honest with you. And you can get a job, after 3 months. You can get a job after 6 months. You can get a job after 1 year. It's all depend. Everybody have their own luck and chance. But you must put in the work, like Dr. You always say. No one not gonna babysit you. It's your own life. In French, we say, tu as ton destin à ta main. It's your destiny. It's in your hand. It's yours to decide how you want to make it. So please make that decision for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think you touched most people. He said you should be ready. Ask yourself if you're ready first, not because somebody is telling you or somebody is doing it. And then you have to be ready to put in the work, which is true. All of that. So thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. At this point, we will take
Thank
questions.
you.
Yes,
Okay.
we will
Questions.
take questions. I'm sure that people have some questions that
Thousands of questions.
yes, that we didn't touch on. So
All right. So thank you, Sheila. I think I will start with the questions. So my question is, and also I think this will be for everybody. Lumen kind of took us through his journey, where he came from and where he's been currently. And just to clarify, like some of the things that he was talking about. So Lumen currently is like Lumen. What is your job title and which company do you work for?
I work for Expedia Group, and my job title, I would say, I'm like PCI DSS compliance analyst.
Okay. And I think for Lumen has not gone through the PCI training. He's doing a PCI job, and he's able to do it because he's piggybacking on like his network that he was talking about, folks that he got to network with in Eretmis. They've gone through the PCI training, so he's piggybacking back on them. And then Lumen also went through our PCI partnership program, which looks at the business aspect, how to partner and get gigs for PCI, and we work on them together. So even with that, we go over PCI, some of the areas that you need to know as somebody who wants to be a PCI consultant or a business owner in PCI. So that helped Lumen, and then also he picked the brains of his friends who've gone through the PCI program. So it's not like he's doing the PCI job with nothing. He's always going back to them, and they are helping him out. But then what Lumen was, I think, enforcing was that he's able to function in PCI even by piggybacking on other people who have gone through extensive training in the PCI side, because he has a good foundation in security. Right. Lumen took the entry-level course and the internship. One of the best students that we had in that program, and in the internship, one of the I think he was in Brian's group. Some of your
Yes.
intern members are on here. Lumen was very active. Mavis and the rest, like I remember, like almost everybody. Lumen was very active, so he took it personal. He invested the time and effort into it, and he keeps saying, okay, I'm able to do third party, I'm able to do this because of the training. And I can understand where he's coming from with this. And he's also able to function within the PCI space, even though he's not gone through the PCI training, because he has a good background. And then he also took the partnership program, and then he's piggybacking on George and Michael and everybody else, right? So, but he's yet to, join the PCI classes. So Lumen, what I'm also going to ask for everybody is, can you walk us through your day, right? Day to day, what do? You wake up in the morning first and walk us through your day as a security professional.
Well, since I'm doing PCI and I started my job with auditing, well, usually most of our tracking is through Excel spreadsheet. So again, if you don't know Excel, please go back, because I'm not very good with Excel. So go back and learn Excel. You don't need to be savvy, but at least know Excel very well. So usually I was tasked with requirement 1, 2, and 5 for PCI. So requirement 1, who talks about a lot of firewall and router configurations, so I need to reach out to teams. So my daily is like reaching out to teams, system owners that own those hosts, to collect evidence. Evidence is like system configurations, talking about a password, default setting, things like that, denies rules, things like that. My job is to collect that every morning, review it, and send it to the QA security. So like, for example, Dr. Edu, I'll send it to Dr. Edu. So that's what I do every day. We have meetings usually around noon, and at the end of the day, I'll send my report to my manager. Okay, I'll reach out to this team. We were not able to collect evidence because, they say they don't own the system or someone else, So
What are
basically,
you
that has
doing?
been.
What's taking you so long to put your clothes on? You can't eat the.
Go ahead, Ruben.
Oh. So sometimes evidence collecting, takes a while. It takes a while, but with the push from the manager sometime or someone, from the upper management coming to the team, that can help you also to, to put pressure on the system owners to collect configurations. I'll say I've spent much of my time dealing with, configuration setting, system setting, AWS account, S3 bucket, Kubernetes, things like that. I've been dealing a lot at work. Is come to a time where I have to review a like ASV scan, and I believe I've done that with Dr. Edu training. So I just went back and review the cybersecurity course again. I'm okay. I know what I'm looking for, and pen testing. They'll give it to me. Let me review it. I need you to prepare me a report. Okay, I'll go. I'll go review it. I have ChatGPT, which is helping me as well. And I have my network. If I need some, some clarifications, I'll go back to them, ask them some questions. And so I'll say, basically, that's what I'll be doing daily, collecting evidences, reviewing it, submitting to the assessor.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you for that, Ruben. And
Okay.
for, I think, salary, somebody put in the chat. Can you,
Okay.
without specifying exactly how much you are receiving for compensation, can you give us like a range? At least
From
maybe like a 10K range or a 20K range. Like, what is the range of your
range
salary?
between a say 120 and 140.
Okay. Okay. And like, how much were you making as an electrical engineer?
Hey, Dr. Ju, to make $30 an hour, you have to be like God.
As an electrical engineer. Okay.
My manager is not making close to me. He's like a manager right now. He was telling me, and I was telling him to to transit to cybersecurity. He's scared too. He's like, "Ruben, I'm scared. I don't know if I can get a job." I'm like, you can, you are white. You can even get a job faster than me. That's what I told him.
Right.
So
Right.
before, as an electrical engineer, before they'll pay you like 60 or 70 or $80 an hour, Dr. Ju, I think you need to have like a doctor, or you have to be a doctor in some sort of field, or you have to be a professional engineer like PE through the states. And to become a PE, you have to know someone who has a PE to actually willing to be your like a mentor for like 2, 3, 4 years before you can get that certificate. So I was like, nah, it's not easy to make that work. And it's very challenging, it's a field that is very challenging.
Okay. So, and then also, I think one thing that everybody might be really interested in is, can you walk us through your job search? So, how were you applying for jobs? The interview process, how was it? And if you
Okay.
can walk us through and give us some background. And then also for the job that you finally landed, how many interviews did you go through before they finally give you an offer?
Okay. Well, the job search, I use Indeed a lot and LinkedIn. The other search engines or whatever, a job platform, they are not that good because of scam. So I use Indeed a lot and LinkedIn. Or if I find a job on a LinkedIn or Indeed, I just go on Google and I'll type the job title, and then I'll go to the company website and apply. Or sometimes I don't even use Indeed or LinkedIn. I just go to Google and I'll say, okay, yes, I want cybersecurity, analyst, and I'll just type it. And Google will pull every company that have like a open position, and I'll go through each one of them and open my account and then apply directly through that. So for interviews, the interview after doing the internship, my mind changed since my goal is to become a consultant. I talk like a consultant. I don't talk like you ask me a question, I answer your question. No. So my interview was like a story type, tell them who I am. I'm a consultant, I've been with, like Eretmis for like, over 4 years, we work on this project and I even use their spoken. I told them that project costs $500,000 project. We assess the company by using, like this framework. I told them every step that we have done. We implemented, so we discovered they don't have I don't remember, but we don't have incident response plan. They don't have a awareness training and whatever, like they don't have multi-factor authentication set up. We introduced them Okta. I just made up the whole good story about everything that I've learned in the internship. That's it. So I didn't get any question. Somehow, everything that I just say touch on frameworks, risk management, a third-party vendor assessment, a incident response, assessing organization, things like that. And then since it is PCI, I twist a little bit talking about PCI, level of transition, how it goes, talking about the PCI AOCs and SAQD and all of that. So I didn't get any question. Everything just went smooth. That's how mine went.
Okay, thank you, Lumen. And for the interview that landed you this job, how many interviews did you have to go through? With who in terms of job title, and what was it about? Was it a soft skills interview and technical, and then soft skills, and like if you can walk us through that, like
Okay.
what were the number of interviews that you went through?
The first when I started after doing the internship and everything, but my first job, I went through like soft skill that I nailed. The technical skill, like interviews, I didn't get it, so they didn't give me the job. I went through another interview also, but then they asked me just like simple questions, and they never called me back. I think a total of like at least 10 companies call me. It's not like straight interviews, just like maybe I don't know if it's a recruiter just doing just asking questions just to find out. But sometimes it's like 30-minute, 45-minute questions, you know, and they will never call me back. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I keep on applying until this one. I restructure how I answer my questions. Instead of answering question one by one and waiting for them to ask me another question, I'm like, now I'm not gonna be doing that anymore. So from now on, I'll be making it that as a story type, because I've done an internship that I can use as a a tool. So that's it.
Oh, okay. So for your current role,
Mhm.
when they reach out to you, who interviewed you first, who interviewed you
Yes.
second, and who interviewed you third for you to
Okay.
eventually win the job?
Okay. For this one, I had an interview with the recruiter first, and then that was a long interview. I think it was like 1 hour interview. He went into all my background, talking about everything that I can do. Especially, he used the job description, so I was prepared. So I actually answered him all the questions before they submit me to directed to the manager. After that 1 hour interview, the next day I have been selected, and they say the manager liked my profile and he wants to talk to me. So that's how I got with my manager. But my manager, the interview is supposed to be 30 minutes, but then the first he introduced himself and he wanted me to introduce myself and tell him about myself and then what I've done and just to tell him what I've done, what I can do. That's it. That's how 30-minute interview turned out to be like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I got a job offer on like on the spot. So that's how.
All right, Loman. Thank you for your insight. I'm going to have everybody ask a question. So kindly raise your virtual hand if you want to ask a question. We'll go with Jamal first, and then Frank and Larry.
Good evening, everybody. My question was, when you got to the interview, you had to get it opened up with your resume. You said you didn't have any certs, you didn't have. I want to know what you put on your resume, and what even made them when you applied for it. Would you not having if you didn't have it on your resume? How did you get past that and sell yourself without, having any kind of documentation or so-called schooling related to PCI? You basically had to sell them by just explaining that you knew the process. That's what it sounds like. I just wanted to know the details of the resume. We're going to start putting our resumes together, and you're transitioning from mechanical and electrical engineering, which is very powerful. I salute you, by the way. And how did you transition that experience over to your skill set as a PCI consultant?
Okay, I think that's a mindset. That's number one. Number two, remember, Dr. Du training also offer how to set up your resume. If you are applying for jobs, if the job, the tab is looking for PCI, you don't say you're a cybersecurity engineer. You have to say you're a PCI, consult or something like that, It has to reflect. But then you need to tailor your resume before the job description, which I've done. But then Dr. Du company is it's a cybersecurity company and a PCI, and a QSA company as well. Therefore, I'm a partner with them. Therefore, I've done PCI. That's how I look at it in my mind. That's how I've been speaking. So it's not like you are lying, but you are telling the truth technically, So if you are doing training with Dr. Du company, if the job call you for PCI, yes, you have done PCI. You went on site, you have done it. Just believe it and you speak to it.
Gotcha.
Everything else you can learn it at work, man. It doesn't matter. You're gonna learn anyway. They're gonna train you.
Gotcha. So okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Frank, please go ahead.
Well, thank you, Dr. Du. So Lumen, I have a quick question. So I have two questions. First one, Dr. Du, the PCI partnership program, is it still available? And my second question, Lumen, what were some of the on-the-job challenges after you were given the job and going through the training and the learning curve? What were some of the challenges that you faced, even though you had a cybersecurity training with Dr. Du or Eretmis? What were some of the growing pains or the challenges from, let's say, first 3 months, first 6 months?
Okay, you're talking about what are the challenges that I have during the training or when I have a job?
Or when you got the job and you were going through training, or let's say after you had been trained on the job and you were now on your own working, what were some of the challenges?
Okay. Well, during the training, I don't think the technical parts of the trainings, I would say the hands-on was a little bit challenging, but you just have to use your brain and think out of the box and do things differently instead of following the same thing that it was. So me, my mind doesn't like just to follow one set of things. That is why I hate when someone say it is what it is. I don't like that. It's not what it is. You can do it different way. There is multiple ways to travel from point A to go to point B. That's one. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult. Something you may not understand it, but you have tools. You can read other books. You can do research online to understand it. That's one for the training. On the job side, for example, there's things that I don't know. For example, I don't know AWS. I hate AWS. But then they put me on AWS accounts. They say, Lumen, go collect configuration. So now, are you going to be telling your manager, I don't know what is AWS accounts. I don't know what. No. I'm like, okay, I'll do my research. Okay, I'll be right back. So I go and do my research. You go do your research. When they tell you to do something, you don't say, I don't know it and I don't want you to know. Yes, okay, I'll give you a result soon. And I just go back. Sometimes I go back to the assessor. What kind of tool do you want us to use to collect this? And the assessor will be like, okay, I don't know. Hold on, let me talk to someone else. And she's going to go get you the information. You just have to know how to do research to find, the solution for the problem. So, and I've done my research. I came back home, like myself, I opened a new AWS account for myself. I log into it, do research, know what is the security setting they are talking about, how to run scripts. Usually I do it on my computer to see, this is how it's run, man. But then when you go back to the system owners, then you can teach them. Sometimes they don't know. They're like, what do you want me to do? How do you do this? I'm like, you don't want to look stupid when you are going to collect configuration and you don't know what you're talking about. You see what I'm talking about, right? So yourself, you need to build that confidence in you. Learn what you're gonna go ask before you ask them. Sometimes I don't know. I just tell them. For example, payment team, payment vaults. I don't know payment vaults. I don't know what they do, but they are using AWS account, right? Okay, the manager has been there for 10 years. What can you teach him? I don't know. You just like, ask him. Sometimes, he might have done this assessment before. Therefore, when we ask them sometimes, they'll be like, okay, yes, I know what you want. Is that okay? You need to know at least a little bit of what you're looking for. Yes, that's what I want. I want this, I want that. You get it? I'll say that one is challenging. And also communication, like the way Dr. Ju say, soft skill communication. You have to learn how to communicate, especially in cybersecurity. You have to learn how to communicate because you'll be working with different teams, vulnerability management team, incident response team, like multiple people maybe dealing with different team, payment for teams, networking teams. I don't know, just name it, all the teams. So you must know how to speak. Number one, how to be respectful, how to be clear. Your communication has to be clear, man. You have to relay the information clearly. Because if they don't understand, they'll be asking you a lot of questions. And sometimes you may look dumb. It's okay. I'll say those are the challenging, the challenge part that that are hard at the job, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Lumen, thank you. And Frank, the PCI partnership program, we will open it up again later this month. So for folks who are interested in that, yeah, they can join that. Now we'll go to Larry. Hopefully I got your name right. And then Zachary.
Yeah, it's Holland, Dr. Adam. How it?
Oh, Holland. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
just
Holland.
want to ask when our guest was saying something about PCI when he was walking us through what he does in his daily routine. Talks of requirement 1, 2, and 5. So what happens to the rest department? Does it mean other people are taking care of that? Because I think I've asked Dr. Adu that question even last week, that all this 1 to 12, is it one person that is going to do it on a normal day? But maybe there's going to be a team, or it has to do with how individual organization handle it. Maybe that's just what I need clarification.
Okay. One person cannot do all of them. It's a team effort. So when I'm working on requirement 1 and 2 and 5, I was working with another person, in fact. And other teams, like other folks, are working on requirement 3, whatever. And our manager also is working on other requirement as well. And like one of my colleagues was working on requirement 12 alone. And he was collecting a lot of training documentation. We were going through all of that, reviewing everything to make sure the version is correct, dates are correct, things like that. So it is split across the team. So and then sometimes some sub requirement actually enter exchange. They are complementary. So one evidence can pertain to the other one as well. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah,
okay, and
did.
also so Holland, to add to Lumen, you have to get some context. Lumen company is a huge company. Their profits or their revenue for this year is in the 28 billion. Is a huge company with people all over, all over the globe, right? So for such a company with so many moving parts, one person is going to be in charge of PCI, but when it comes to the doing of it, there's going to be a whole team working on it, right? If you find yourself in a company that is like the total number of people within the company is probably maybe 50, 60, thereabout, and it's probably going to be only you, right? So depending on the size of the company and the moving parts will determine, because for Lumen's company, they have like 3 PCI managers. They have the actual CISO who is directly just in charge for GRC, not for just full cybersecurity. they have broken it down where they have like consultants like Lumen and the rest, like a couple of them, right? So it's a huge company with huge money moving around, and their company, they are in the hospitality business. So all they do is collecting people's credit card and debit card information, right? So for such a company, obviously one person cannot do it all. So and even with that, I mean, I don't want to get into Lumen's company's business, but you can talk to Lumen offline about some of the things that is going on in there that will let every PCI student be scratching their head and be screaming and saying, what the heck is going on here? Right. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, but you can talk to Lumen offline. Yeah, so Lumen, please put your LinkedIn in the chat and people can, link up, especially the PCI folks.
Okay.
So Zachary, please go ahead.
No, I'm good. Yes, let me put that in the chat, okay?
Okay. Please unmute yourself and go ahead, Zachary. Okay, then we'll go to Lennon.
Yes. Hi. I had a question about. I'm from the February cohort for the PCI DSS program with Eretmis, and I had my first interview this week with a company that is located in 120 countries with 50,000 employees. And overall, I think the interview went pretty well. This was my first one, but it's been 3 days now because I interviewed on Tuesday, and originally it was supposed to be 2 interviews, but they're kind of in a pinch right now because it sounds like they are not in compliance with PCI DSS and that they're trying to hire someone right away. But it's been 3 days now. I have not heard anything back from them. And I was wondering, is that typical? And should I not even expect to hear back from them at this point?
No, I mean, like that is typical, right?
Okay.
HR has a lot of moving, parts. So probably somebody who has to reach out to you have that on his, at the bottom of his list. So if they don't reach out on Monday, reach out just as a courtesy and just say, I'm just following up with the interview that we had on Tuesday or whatever day, right? So yes, sometimes it will take a week before they reach out, but they're definitely going to reach out whether they are moving on with you or moving forward. So yes, they would reach out. So, and sometimes you have to go back to them, reach out to HR for them to, kind of get back to you as soon as possible. So yes, do reach out to them on Monday. And
on Monday?
Yes, and keep me posted.
Okay. I will do that. Thank you.
All right. Mohammed, please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, Zachary, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Doc, for the opportunity to ask the question. But Lumen,
yes.
What was your remuneration as an engineer? What were you earning as an engineer? But for all that you talked about your manager, how difficult it was to make $80 an hour. You never answered the question. Can you give here, like say 48,000 a year, 50,000 a year, 60,000 a year, so that we can compare to know the difference between what you make now and what you made then?
Okay. So if I understand very well, you want me to explain the salary of the compensation on a cybersecurity side, and then as an engineer, right?
So what you were earning as an engineer, then we can compare that to what you are making as a cybersecurity
as
consultant.
an engineer, I never make close to 80,000.
Okay, but were you making like 75,000?
Oh, it depends. I cannot say 75 because sometimes it depends. Bonuses can be there. Everything. Remember, the salary could be, if I remember, it's like sometimes it's 55,000, sometimes it's like 60, 65. Because remember, they say you make 80,000 bets, they give you all the benefits, like healthcare, everything included, into it. So it's all depend with each company. That's how they say you are making 80,000 or 90,000, but technically you are not making it.
Okay, in that case, means according to you, your salary doesn't include all the benefits. But
yes,
like for instance, I'm supposed to earn 48,000 a year, but I make roughly 70,000 a year. That does not include the bonuses and other things that come with it.
Yes.
Healthcare. So if somebody asks me how much you make a year, I'll say 70,000 a year. Something like that. That's what I wanted you to say. And then we
okay.
can a significant increase in pay between what you were earning as an engineer and what you now make as a cybersecurity employee.
Again, remember, and then also remember.
I think it's very clear. I think we've got the gist, and we should be careful not to go into people's extremely private matters, right?
No, that's not private. I mean, it's something that is general all over the place. Engineers earn different ranges, but if I earn 50, somebody might earn 60, depending on the level of experience of the person involved, the company you work for, and a whole lot of interest.
Yes, that's correct.
So private.
And also remember, if you're an electrical engineering, there is different area of expertise. You can be control engineer, you can be manufacturing engineer, you can be process engineer, you can be electronics engineer. It all depends. You can be a green energy engineers. It all depend. Yeah, so it's all depend.
I personally think that everyone should give a general idea of what they make in the first place. Who are we? We're here to help each other. And if you don't know what the general rate is across the board, you don't know how to go to the table and ask for what you deserve. All that secrecy, I don't know where that started at, but it's not, it can be personal if someone doesn't want to share, but we all know a general range of what an engineer makes or supposed to make it. And you can look it up on Google. So I don't really like the secrecy about that because that was something that was created to keep people ignorant so that they can underpay other people. So that other people, that's what that came from. Look the history up. So we're family. So I want to always share what I'm doing personally. I know that I want everyone to be able to negotiate a fair price and get a fair deal. So that's just my.
But in cybersecurity, honestly, you can make more. To be honest, especially analyst, you could be. I believe Dr. Yu shared already. An analyst could be at least, depending on your experience and everything, you could make more than 100,000. And talking about cybersecurity engineer, you can be 120 and above. Talking about cybersecurity architects, that's even higher. Hey, talking about PCI, analyst, you are, it depend on your experience. You could be, 120, and above. Talking about senior, and then QSA, you are like 200,000, 300,000 and above. So it's all depend, And it's on the internet, so you can look it up.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And then also just to piggyback on everybody, what everybody's saying, I mean, it's fair for us to give a rough range. That way everybody knows what we are looking at. But for everybody on here, if you want to be a security professional, if you are starting off, you're already in it, don't take anything below 100K. If you take anything below 100K, then you don't like money. If you are specializing in PCI and the rest, then you should be asking for PCI. It should be above 130, right? The highest we've had for PCI for our PCI students is 200, one job, 200. I think 205, right? Some 150, 170 thereabout, right? For entry level, everybody, our minimum salary is 100K across board, minimum. Maximum for entry level is 150. And when I say maximum, is somebody has it, right? It's not something that we are creating. Somebody has it. Everybody else 100 in between there about. So if you are starting off in security, don't take my word for it. Look up the national statistics average for a security analyst is 113, 113, right? So you know the rough figure now. Don't go asking for 70 and 80 because you think you are new and you are, if you go through our training, like Lumen will tell you, you are going to go get on the job and people will be asking you questions. People who've been there 5 years, 6 years, and you are looking behind you whether it's somebody else they're asking or you. No, it's you.
It's you.
Right? It is you. And it will amaze you how much you know, after going through the training, the internship, and getting on the job. Right. So Lumen is there. Lumen didn't go through the PCI training and is able to function there just with the entry level. So for everybody going through PCI, you can just imagine. And Lumen is able to survive because he has, you know, PCI angels on his wings who are flying him. When he has any problems, you just bounce it off them. Right. So please take note of that. If you are getting into security, 100K minimum, that is your accent price, regardless of how much you think of yourself as a newbie, 100K minimum. So with that, we are going to go to Kofi, and then Mohammed will go, and then Kehindi. So Kofi, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Edu. First of all, to the gentleman that was asking Lumen about the salary, Zachary, if I'm pronouncing your name right, if you listen earlier, he mentioned when Dr. Edu asked him about his compensation, he said, moving from $30 an hour, that gives me, when he said that, I already calculated how much he was making then, maybe 62,400 if you multiply that by 20 hours in a year, or you times that same 30 by 40, you get 1,200 times 52 weeks. You get exactly what he was making then compared to. Then he also gave his cybersecurity range. So I knew. So I'm just want to put that out there. So next time, if someone mentions how much they are making per hour, try to use that math to calculate it. 80 hours in a year if the person is a full-time employee. All right. Let me thank my brother Lumen first of all for his job at the company he's working for. Congratulations. When we hear a story like this from one of our own, we become very proud. So I'm very proud of you this evening. My question to you now is, you mentioned there was a friend who recommended this job for you. All I want to know is this friend, was he an internal person within the company, or he was someone from outside who got the job link and forwarded it to you? I just want to see whether he plays a factor in you getting the gig in terms of a connection, networking.
Okay. Well, I would say he was working there, and then he heard it. You know, he didn't recommend me. He didn't do anything. He just told me, hey, they are looking for this position. I think you should apply. That's when, you know, I did the application. He didn't recommend me or say anything about me, because like our companies, you cannot recommend anybody. You can't do anything. You know, they don't promote or do or hire anybody on recommendation. No, they don't do that. This company doesn't do that. So you have to apply. They have to call you for an interview, and you have to, do your magic. That's how, it went. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Mohammed, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Adu. First, I want to congratulate Lumen on your gig. It's really inspiring to see and hear somebody, went through the process and get successful. So that can prove that, anybody can do it.
Yes.
And also, one thing that you have proved everyone is that you don't really need a certification to get the job. As long as you know what, you can go through the interview and you kind of basically present yourself as a professional cybersecurity, and you present yourself that you can do the job. That you don't really, go to those certifications that be able. But my question is, you said that you do a requirement 1 and 2 and 3, I think you said, or 5.
5.
Is that all your responsibility is, or sometimes you kind
No.
of do the other requirements as well? And what requirement do you think that are the most difficult for you to do, or is more challenging for you, rather than the other requirements?
Okay, good question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will not say I cannot say this requirement is challenging, the other one is not challenging. It's depend on the environment. It's depend on the company. It's depend on your companies, how they structure their security posture. Everything just depend on the company. Some other companies are well organized, some other companies are not well organized. So it is all depend. So, and then the second one is, it doesn't mean if I'm working on requirement 1, and if I reach out I reach out to all the system owners and I'm waiting for evidence. And if I have time, if someone is working on requirement 12 and they need help, you can go and help him. You see what I'm talking about? During meetings, everybody give reports, say like, I need help on logs review. Okay. Okay, yes, I have free time. Let me work on that for you. Okay. For example, I was collecting system configurations, and I think I don't know which requirements that, but he was collecting a system configuration for NTP. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing that already. So let me help you on that. You see? So it's all depend on the company, on the environment, and how everything is structured, or how your manager structured the department. So, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, requirement NTP is more like a requirement 11.4.
Voila.
Yeah. So it's really great to. Has there been, when you were doing the interview, was there anything that they said that you're lacking, like you don't have any certification? For you now you're doing like an ISA position. Did you say that you don't have do you have ISA? Did that ever come up?
No, I don't think you need to be an ISA or QSA. I believe if you have taken Dr. Joe, those entry training for PCI, you will understand it. Or maybe some of those cyber chat, he explain it. You don't need those certificates, those certification to, to get into it. In fact, you don't even need, I think maybe if you have security plus, yeah, even if you have a degree, you don't have all those certification, you still can do it, even if you understand, you know what you are saying, and you speak with confidence and you believe in yourself. You can do it. So to be an ISA is another process. I believe you know that. To be a QSA is another whole process.
Yeah.
So you don't need all of that to get into, as a PCI, unless the company that is hiring require, they say, the one ISA, the one QSA, and they know where to go find QSA. They can go to the PCI website to find QSA, and they can call them. But if they need someone like an individual contributor, someone who can come as a simple consultant, can support them, to work so that they can be, to pass an audit. They're not going to be looking for ISA, like always looking for an ISA, or QSA. So you that finished Dr. training, they can just call you Radu because you can do the job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really very, very, very inspiring that, without using a certification, without, prior knowledge, that you can get into this figure.
Yeah.
And if you, on the job, you stay on the job for a couple of more years and you get your ISA, I can't believe how much, you'll be asking for that, after that.
That one is between you and I.
Yeah. But yeah, congratulations. I really hope you.
Thank you.
And for coming.
All right. Thank you, Mohammed. I think, if I remember correctly, Mohammed is a QSA now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Mohammed. For his company, Mohammed worked for a QSA company, and he got certified QSA a while ago. I think a little bit ago, right, Mohammed?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I remember
Congratulations.
Mohammed. Yeah. All right. Kaindi, please go ahead. All right. Congrats, Mohammed. I think I probably congratulated you on LinkedIn, but congrats. You've been hiding for a while and you showed up today, so just wanted to give you that shout out. Kaindi, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Edu. Hi, Lume.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm currently doing internship program with Eretmis and concurrently and at the same time doing PCI DSS.
Okay.
When do you advise that I should start applying for jobs?
Now.
That's now. Okay.
Now.
And when I do, in the aspect of experience, what do I put in? Where do I'm using diaspora care. Can I use both diaspora
Let me make
care
it simple for you.
Yeah, I'm confused.
You are Dr. Edu company is training. Dr. Edu is his company is a legal company in the United States. Dr. Edu company is employ people. Dr. Edu company is a consulting company. You are a consultant. You are working for the company. You have been working for them for the past 5 years. Do you agree?
Dr. Edu, that's what I'm going to do.
Do you agree? Yes or no? You have been working for the company for the past 5 years.
Yeah, no, to add to what Lumen is talking about, mostly when it comes to experience, let me just break it down for everybody, right?
Okay.
People come in and they say, I have no experience. What are we looking at, or what are companies looking at in terms of experience? Don't take my word for it. When you look at the job descriptions, look at what they are looking for, technical and also non-technical experience.
Okay.
They are both on there. So soft skills portion, which is the your leadership, managerial, good communication skills, and the rest, they are there together with your technical cybersecurity skills. So when we are talking about experience or your skill sets, do not just limit it to I'm new to cybersecurity, I'm new to PCI, so I don't have any experience. You are wrong. If it is not important, why are they? Because when they do the job post, it's not for free. They pay for it. So the more space you take, the more money you pay. So why do you list like a list of skill set that you are not looking for in a client, or in somebody that you want to employ? They have it all on there. Sometimes, okay, they need you to be able to. So let's take, for instance, like PCI. They need you to be able to do initial assessment, a gap analysis. They need you to be able to develop a PCI program for them. After all that, you need to be able to work within a team. You have to be a good team player, good communication skills, good verbal and non-verbal communication skills, good interpersonal. So all that list, all that soft skills, if it's not important, why do they list it? And also, everybody on here have some of that soft skills coming into it. So you have some experience already. So are you trying to tell me if you're a manager, like Lumen was doing engineering, if he was working in a team, he was a team lead for the past 6 years, and he's switching to cybersecurity, and the role he's looking for in cybersecurity, he's also going to be a cybersecurity manager. He has no experience because he's new to cybersecurity.
No.
I mean, he's going to lead people. Like the skill set as a manager here applies directly here. It's nothing different. All that you have to know now, you just have to add your technical knowledge to it, and you're good. So if they are looking for 5 years of experience and you've been working as a manager for 10 years, are you telling me all that is going to waste because you don't know CIA triad and vulnerability management? You are not really open fuzzy on that. Like, what are you telling me? Right? Why can they pick the CEO of Coca-Cola and take him to be the CEO of BMW? What has
good question
Brinks got to do with cars? I mean, when did the CEO of Coca-Cola become an expert in cars? It's not the cars he's not the one who's going to build the cars necessarily. When he goes there, he has to school himself on the car industry, what goes in here and blah, blah, blah. But the most important is his leadership and managerial skills is what brought him there. So those skills are transferable skills. The technical side is easy. I can teach you that all day. The soft skill side, if you can show up, early to save your life, I can't help you with that. If you don't pay attention to detail, I can't help you with that. I mean, I can't teach you that in 3 months, but I can teach you how to do vulnerability scans in a week, 2 days, right? I can teach you the technical stuff within. So for your technical experience, that is why we do the internship. The projects you are working on, if we are to work on those projects in real time, some of it is going to take you 2 years, 3 years. There are people on the job who have been on. So Lumen was telling, maybe probably people didn't catch up on this. Lumen's friend who was working in cybersecurity already, and Lumen was looking for a job, was reaching out to Lumen to help him with things that he was doing on the job. And he has really for like probably 5 years. Lumen has just completed a training, and he was calling on Lumen to help him. How is that possible? Because the projects that Lumen has worked on during the internship, his friend who has been on the job has not encountered those projects already. And when he's encountering them, he has nobody to turn to. They probably heard Lumen was doing internship. So your technical experience comes from the internship. Those ones you are doing it for diaspora care, doing it for whichever company, you can list those companies on there. Those are actual companies, and the policies you are developing for them, they are using it. Everything that you are doing for them is not just a classroom project. It's an actual thing that they are using, things that they need. If you do the assessment, we keep that on record. So they can also use that when they are going for their funding or to show that they are following the prudent man rule, right? So your technical experience or skill sets comes from the internship, not just the training. Everything starts with knowledge. That is why you go through the training itself and then the internship. But the soft skills aspect of it, you are bringing already with you from whichever industry you are coming from. So maybe Dr. Edu is just BSN. Go look at cybersecurity job descriptions randomly online. If you don't see any soft skills on there, then you can come back to me and tell me all that I said.
All right. Thank you so much. One more question.
Hopefully that helps everybody out. So let's not get in that mindset. I don't have any experience coming in. So you don't have to lie on your resume. You have experience coming. You just need somebody to be able to pinpoint and tell you, okay, these are your transferable skills, right? So everybody has some skill set coming into it. So let's say for you, you've never even, actually done anything very, in any setting. You are just maybe probably like a pastor in a church. Like you think it's a joke to be a pastor. The soft skills you need to be able to function as. So all those soft skills, you can directly also bring them in there, because the point is, everywhere you go, you are dealing with human beings, and they are the same everywhere, regardless of the industry.
Okay.
So experience that you have dealing with people, they don't go to waste. They are with you everywhere you go, right? So let's not get in that space of I have no experience, zero experience. No, you don't have zero experience.
Okay.
And if you say you have 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, you are not lying, right? So get that out of your mind. The skill set you are bringing together with what you have now, it is even probably more than 4 years, 5 years, right? So hopefully that helps everybody. Anthony, please go ahead, and then we will wrap it up.
Yeah, congratulations, Lumen.
Thank you.
Good job. So I just wanted to know, what is your career plan going forward? Are you aiming for, the certifications linearly, like ISA, QSA, and whatnot? Or, I just want to know, because I signed up for the PCI DSS class, but I just want to hear from an insider what it is like once you get in there, what the career plans are. Do you plan to get your QSA, and then do you plan to take other certifications? That'll probably just make your resume look very nice.
Yeah. To answer your question, I've already have a CSA, a Security Plus and CISA, and my goal is to work. My end goal is to be a consultant. I have my consulting companies, just work similar like Dr. Ju. And I'm gonna have I'm planning to become either ISA, but I'm targeting QSA, but not now. I'm not ready yet, I want to take my time, those baby steps, I want to take it, learning, build a good foundation, and get to that level. The certification, CSM and CISA, I'm going to get them as well because it is required to get, before you can get your, you can go to your QSA, exam and things like that. So the end goal, I'm going to be a QSA. Definitely it's going to happen. And overall, I want to be a consultant, 100% consultant, assess companies, companies call my business, we'll go there, we assess the company, just the way you are doing it at the internship, same thing. I'm going to be doing that, proposing them, with remediations, with a coach, if they like it, they'll go with that. I mean, if they don't, yeah, we move on, that's all.
One more question, just from your position as an insider, I know from what you've been talking about, I guess you are, your job is on site, not remote.
My job is remote.
Is it remote?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Jermaine, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lumen. I have a question here. My question is, do you think your background as an engineer or your degree play a huge role to be pre-selected by a recruiter? Because sometimes, people don't have a certificate, but they have a degree. So I want your thought on that.
Well, I think I don't know how to answer that one. I would say I have a degree, I have a certificate, but I would say my background in engineering transit to cybersecurity well, because it's easy for me to relate what they are doing in cybersecurity as an engineer. How the process are set, how to set up process, quality process, how to do, setting up process, for department, document review, like those documents that you did, like awareness training, things like that, what to look for, things like that. Same thing as an engineer, I used to do all of that. Even when I was a manager, pretty much I've been doing, I've done all of that. So I'll say most of the soft skills got transferred over, most of them. Degree, no, really, because, I have a lot of degrees. I don't think anybody really care. They care about your personality, your emotional intelligence. What are you bringing to the table? How nice are you? How do you talk to people? For example, networking team. This girl, I talk to her all the time because at first she was like, she doesn't talk well to me, but the way I approach her made her to become my friend. So whatever I need from networking team, I get it like that, like if in the fingers, just like that. You see, so it's how, you think, how you speak, how you articulate, and how you approach people. I think, those things have to come from, like your previous work. How do you work? How do you work with people? How do you act during meetings? We do a lot of Zoom call. You have to be careful what you say, how to talk to your people, things like that.
Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Lewin. We appreciate your time and
thank you.
Your insights. Very inspiring story. And so everybody on here, I hope, and I know we all learned a lot from Lumen. But the takeaway from here for tonight is doable. It's not easy by any means, but it's very doable. So if you are getting onto the job market, keep pushing. Lumen is an inspiration, just like others and everybody on here. So we are wrapping up. We are 9 on the dot, 9:08. Any inputs, any questions, any concerns? You know where to send it. The WhatsApp group link has been posted in the chat, so please look in there and you can join the group and join the family. Lumen also posted his LinkedIn on there. Lumen is very hands-on. If you approach him, Lumen is going to help you go out of his way, bend over backwards to help you. So please do reach out. He's a good resource that you can tap into always. So we are wrapping up. Any questions for the group before we wrap up for tonight? And for our interns, we are still meeting tomorrow as usual, normal times. It is going to be posted in your groups. And I appreciate everybody's time. Have a great weekend. We are going to meet same time next week, God willing, for another edition of Cyber Chat. But I appreciate everybody's time. And Lumen, we thank you once again. You are an inspiration to the family. Keep doing great things. And we will meet again next week, same time. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good weekend, everyone.
Thank you.